Yo guys, what is up, and welcome back to a brand new video here today on the channel. Inside today's video, we're going to be fishing this half-frozen pond to see what we can't catch in these cold winter months. So let's get right into today's video. Alright guys, so as you can see, half of this pond is actually frozen, and not too long ago there was a good quarter to a half inch of ice on the entire pond, but just last night we had a bunch of rain and it got a little bit warmer, so now it melted a bunch of the ice, so I have half a pond to fish. Since it has been so cold, I am working with my super cold water tactics. I got some mealworms right here that I just picked up from the store, so these should come in handy, as well as fishing some super slow finesse baits to see if we can't get on some bass, because I know there are a bunch in here. We're just gonna have to see how this goes. I haven't been able to go fishing in quite a while since there has been ice on the ponds. Not enough for ice fishing, but too much to be open water fishing. So I'm hoping that it was a little bit warmer yesterday and some of the ice melted off. I'll be able to get on some fish. So let's rig up one of these mealworms, cast it out there, and let's see if we can't get on any fish. I'm excited to see if we can't get on them today. Alright guys, since it is so cold, I'm going to be resorting to using some of these mealworms, a little bit of live bait, to see if we can't get any of these slow-moving fish to eat. I'm also going to be throwing another little rig on my bait caster, put a little finesse bait on it, or even maybe throw a jerk bait at some point to see if I can't find some more aggressive little fish. But for now, I'm going to be trying some of these little mealworms, which do work really well in the winter. I've heard they work super well for ice fishing, and I'm sure they'll just work just as well on a little bobber rig out in the middle of this pond. So let's put one of these on, a little small hook, and see if we can't catch anything on this bait. So let's cast in there. Let's go. Alright guys, so since this pond is pretty small, I'm really just going to be casting out right into the middle of this pond. Just keep that bobber up, set this rod up right on the side, and I'm hoping that I can get on some fish. This would be my first fish of 2021, since this is the first time I'm going fishing. So hopefully, even if it's a little bluegill, I would be happy with that, since it is so cold. Let's set this rod up right here, and watch that bobber. Hopefully we can't get a bite. Alright guys, so I'm also going to be throwing out just a little finesse wacky rig with a Guggenbait's drag and drop on it. Actually fishing for the first time with my brand new Shimano Curado K. I'm definitely going to be doing a kind of review video on this since I did just get it. Make sure you comment down below if you guys want to see that. But just throwing this super light bait, super finesse, to see if we can't get some of these slow moving bass. We got a bite, guys. Just saw my bobber go down. It has been a little bit windy, so the bobber has been moving, but that was definitely a bite. I just casted it in a new spot. Dang it. I wonder if he stole my mealworm. We've been fishing for quite a bit. Oh, he's biting it again. He's got it. He's biting it again. Oh, he's got it. He's got it. He's got it. Got him. Let's go. First fish of 2020. Let's go. It's not a bad one. Not a bad little bluegill. Let's go. That's a quality sized bluegill. Let's go. You guys know that I'm usually fishing for bass, but when it's this cold, I'm gonna take this little healthy looking bluegill right there. Maybe it's a little pumpkin seed. Let's get a little bit better lighting for you guys to see this fish. Not a bad little fish on the mealworm, you know. I have not caught a fish in quite a while. It's just a little bluegill on some live bait, but I'm happy with this fish. I was just about to do an update on how slow it's been throwing the jerk bait and the mealworm, but this dude finally ate my little bait. So let's get him right back in the water. Alright guys, like I said, not a huge fish, but a nice little bluegill there. Thank you so much for biting, little buddy. Let's get him back. Goes right back. I think that was my, fourth or fifth cast with the mealworms. I've been letting them sit for a while. Threw right into this little corner that seemed to be a little bit shallower, maybe even a little bit warmer. just because the sun's kind of going right on this corner. Casted it in there, probably in the water for about 10-15 seconds before that bobber went down, and we finally got one. Alright guys, so basically how I caught that fish, just a little tiny piece of a mealworm on this super small hook, just rigged up there. Just casting out there right to the middle of this pond. This pond is pretty small, especially the width, so I can get it out there right into the middle. So casting right there, small little bobber, and just letting it sit. Probably have about 2 to 3 feet in between the bobber and where the hook is, just kind of letting it suspend right above the bottom where a lot of times these fish are in the winter. Got it. Oh, there's a fish. Fish. Destroying it. Absolutely destroying it. Oh my God. I hope the GoPro picked that up. The bait was gone. The bobber just disappeared. I could feel my hand warmers in my pocket. Dang it. Oh, that's a bite. That's a bite. That's a bite. He's got it. He didn't take it under that time. He was just kind of pecking at it. Still got it. Still got it. He's still taking it slowly. Hopefully the wind noise isn't too bad here. I'm gonna take it in. He's on it. He's on it. He's on it. Let's go. Let's go. He was on it the whole time. He was on it the whole time. Let's go. That's a pumpkin seed right there. We were gonna go back. Took one last cast here. We're gonna have to take another cast here because I was getting a bunch of bites. My hand is freezing. I can barely even get the hook out of his mouth. Second fish of the day. Definitely a little pumpkin seed right there. Let's get him back in the water. Alright guys, let's get this second fish of the day back in the water. A nice looking little pumpkin seed right there. And let's get a nice little release on this guy. Right back in there. That was sick. I was getting a bunch of bites. My bobber wasn't even moving when I reeled it in, but he must have just still had hold of that little hook. Got my hand warmers right here. Second fish of the day. You know, we're gonna take maybe a couple more casts into that little hole just because I got a bunch of bites and there might have been a few other fish there. So let's take a few more casts here, but I'm so happy that we got on another fish. Oh, there's a fish, there's a fish, there's a fish. He's got it, he's got it. Got him. Oh, that one's fighting a little bit better. Same spot. That one's fighting. The other one's, is it another bluegill? Yeah. A little bit smaller one, actually. Another fish right in that same area. That dude, oh, he choked it. Gonna have to get this guy unhooked. Wasn't even paying attention. Was putting my gloves on since I was so cold. But another quality little fish right there, a little bluegill. Let's get him back in the water. Gonna have to get that hook out. He absolutely destroyed that bait. Let's get him unhooked and back in the water. Alright guys, probably the smallest one of the day, but just 2 minutes after that last fish, was putting my gloves on so I didn't even see the bobber go down. And of course this dude had a little bait. The hook was just wedged in his mouth. The hook wasn't even penetrated through his skin, just wedged in his mouth. Graceful release. Good little fish right there. Third fish of the day. Slow start. And now 2 in a row in the same spot as the sun is going down. So maybe we'll even stay for a little bit longer since those fish were so close together. These fish all seem to be in the same little spot, at least the hungry ones. Right on this wind-blown bank, which is kind of about 15-20 feet out from this bank right here, which is getting all the wind blown onto it. And they all bit pretty quickly after dropping that bait in. Don't have much of a bait on there. Oh, he's got it. Another one. Another one, right away. They're stacked in this corner. Alright guys, so that's actually going to be the end of the video, but let me just explain what happened right after that clip right there. So basically I got a bunch more bites, didn't end up catching any more fish. I was absolutely freezing. I didn't have much battery on my GoPro, and I figured even though I was getting bites, I had already caught a few fish, and I was so cold that we ended up going home right after that. definitely a pretty productive day, at least in my opinion. It wasn't the most fish, it wasn't the biggest fish, it wasn't really what we were targeting. I was targeting bass for sure with that jerk bait, and really anything I threw on my bait caster, but still a productive day. My first fish of 2021 in this video. It's just been super tough to get these videos out for you guys, so it's definitely cool to finally catch some fish and get a fishing video out for you guys. And I know you definitely enjoy the fishing videos the most, at least I do. But thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate the view. If you made it all the way to the end of the video, thank you guys so much. And if you did, make sure you comment down below with the hashtag fishing, so I know you made it to the end of the video. But without further ado, I'm going to end the video right here, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.